All right, so this is the back. This is page 4. All right, solve the equation. Well, you know what? We've already worked a couple of these like this. So you're going to draw your line. In the end, you're going to get x equals. So you do have to do some work. You're going to hippity-hoppity distributive property. And hippity-hoppity distributive property. I'm going to give you just a minute, and then I'm going to work it. Not all of it, but I'll get it started. Negative 2 times x. Negative 2 times x. Keep going. Negative 2 times negative 6 will be a positive 12. Then you got minus 4 equals 2 times 8. 16. 2 times negative x. And then you've got your minus x on here. Now, the next part I'm going to let you do, but I'm going to give you a couple of pointers. If there's more than 2 terms on either side, that means something can go together. So when I look at the left side here, I see that I've got 3 terms. Something's going to go together. What is 12 minus 4? Okay, think about that. On the other side, remember there's a 1 right here in front of that x. And I've got 3 terms on the same side, so I'm going to put those x's together. Okay? Think about that. Negative 2 and negative 1 will give me negative 3x, so 16 minus 3x. Negative 2x plus 8 on the other side. When you get to there, move your x's to one side and all your numbers to the other. Subtract or add your x's, whatever you need to do to get them to the same side. Okay, pause your video now and finish that up. Alright, so your favorite band is coming to the town and you plan to buy tickets. Each ticket costs $15 plus there is a one-time $20 processing fee. How many tickets can you buy for $185? Alright, so you got to kind of think about this. Your favorite band's coming to town, really doesn't matter. Each ticket though is $15 plus there's a one-time processing fee of $20. The one-time fee of $20, I'm just going to say $20 plus $15 for every ticket I buy. How much does it need to equal? Normally you say, oh, it equals Y. Well, no, I actually know the value on this one. What is the Y value? How many tickets can you buy for $185? So you want to know, if I have $185, how many tickets can I buy? Take that equation, solve it for x. Put all your x's on one side, your numbers on the other. So subtract 20, divide by 15, boom, you're going to have your answer. All right, I think 11 might be coming to my brain about now. So anyway, I'll let you work that one. Okay, for Wednesday, pause your video if you need to. Graphing equality. Okay, so all you're going to do, solve for y and graph it. Now remember, when you graph an inequality, that's when you do that shading. So remember, if you have an inequality going like, I'll put it over here. If your inequality is greater than, turn it clockwise. And remember, this is full of lava. The lava's waiting to either explode up or down. Turn it clockwise, and when I do, the lava shoots up. So that means I would shade up. This one, now I don't know, I'm looking and I see that negative. I think I'm probably going to have to move it. If it were going this direction, if my lava were sitting inside my inequality and I turn it clockwise, my lava would go down and I would shade down. So as you solve that one, be very aware of which way you're going to shade. Shade up or down. So on this one, I would subtract the x. So that'll give me negative 2y less than negative x minus 4. And you do have to divide by negative. So that inequality is going to flip. So that means when I divide by negative 2, I'm going to have to remember to flip that sign. So I'm going to have y flip the sign. negative x over negative 2, negative over negative is going to become a positive. So positive 1/2 x. Negative 4 over negative 2, negative over negative, what happens? Yep, becomes a positive, so that'll be 4 divided by 2 will be 2. Alright, so here's what I'm graphing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the b, which is 2. So I'm going to go up to 2. My slope, remember, it's rise over run. Daniel, can you close that door? I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. When I graph it, this does not have a line. Okay, let me remind you that. A line underneath means it's a solid line. If it doesn't have a line underneath this line right here, it's a dashed line. In this situation, there's no line underneath, so that means it is dashed. So, I'm going to try and do my dashed line. It is greater than. So, I'm going to take it, I'm going to turn it, it's this one right here. It's full of lava. I'm going to turn it clockwise, it's shooting up. So that means if I look at this line, this is the top, this is the bottom. And it's going to shade up. Okay, now remember, those of you that like to do the checkpoint, I would check 0, 0 right here. And I would plug it in. I would say 0 greater than, this would give me 0, 2. Is 0 greater than 2? No, it's not. That means that is not in my solution, meaning I would shade the other side. Okay, remember, if you get a false statement, you would shade the other way. All right, Thursday, use the above equation to identify the following. What's the x-intercept? What's the y-intercept? What's the slope? I know your natural reaction here is to say, oh, let me just graph it. I can figure it out. Okay, let's take a second. Let's kind of graph it. In order to graph it, I have to have y equals mx plus b. So move the x. So I'm going to come over here. Those would cancel. So I would have 5y equals negative 7x minus 15. I would divide everything by 5. And I'd get y equals negative 7 over 5x minus 3. Okay, this is super easy to see, right? What's that? Okay, put it on your paper. Hopefully you're like, oh, what? What's the slope? Super easy to see, right? Slope. I got it right there. But how do I find that y-intercept? Well, we didn't go over this a lot in class because a lot of times we would just graph it. Here's the downside. If you try to graph that, you won't be able to see the y-intercept. You'll be like, oh, where did it go? So here's what you really have to kind of do on this one. The y-intercept, can I use this one right here? The y-intercept is where you cross the x-axis. Whatever this one happens to be, it's going to be where I cross the x-axis. It's when the y value is 0 and you get the x value, right? So what I want to do is come up here, and I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to go here, 7x plus 5. It's when the y value is 0. So what if I put 0 in for y equals negative 15? If I want to know where the x-intercept is, I'll just put a 0 in. Well, that's going to give me 7x equals negative 15 because 5 times 0 is just 0. I'll divide both sides by 7. Ooh, look at that. X equals negative 15 over 7. So when y is 0, the x-intercept is negative 15 over 7. Ooh, it's not a very pretty number. Normally they'll come out a little nicer and neater than that, but that would be my x-intercept. You got your y-intercept, you got your slope. Hopefully you got everything circled so I can find it when I grade it. All right, last one. Write an equation in standard form of a line that represents the table below. Okay, if I'm going to write an equation of a line, I need y equals mx plus b. Can I see the slope? Yes. I can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Where do I get those points? Use these right here. You You can use any points you want, actually. It doesn't matter to me which ones you use. You'll still get the same answer. The other thing I need, that will give me my M. Where do I find the B? Sometimes you can see the B and sometimes you can't. The B is the y-intercept. If I'm graphing a line, where I cross the y-axis, that's the y-intercept. The ordered pair would be something 0, B. Do you see 0B? I see 0B. Do you see 0B? I see 0B right here. So I know that B equals -4. What does my M equal? Well, do the math. Figure out what your M equals, and then you'll be able to get your equation. Now, once you get that equation, you're like, oh, I thought I was done. No, it's got to be in standard form. So here's what we're going to do. Once you get the equation, remember 3 things about standard form. No fractions. So if you get a fraction like, say, 4/3, you would want to multiply your whole equation, both sides, by 3. Because the 3 on bottom, anyway, you'd want to get rid of it. Then after that, you need to put x and y on the same side. So move the x to the other side. Now, when you move the x, if he happens to be negative, say, 4x, and when you move it over there, it's a -4x, you need to make him happy. In order to make him happy, you just change the sign. If it's a -4x, change it to a positive. But remember, when you change his sign, you also have to change that 3y. He's going to go from positive, boom, to negative. And then that -12 would have to change to a +12. Anyway, so I hope that made sense. I hope that helped you get that one. If you need to see me in tutorials, come on in. I'll be there waiting. I'll leave the light on for you. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.